Get started. So we're here to celebrate Arbor Day. Does anybody know what arbor means? Anybody, just so you can spell it if you want to. Yep. What's the meaning of arbor? Anybody know? It means tree. So we're celebrating Tree Day. So in the United States, it's the last Friday in April, so which is tomorrow, but didn't work out for tomorrow, so we're doing it a day early. And then the month of May is Arbor, a celebration all month long to plant a tree. So in celebration, we'll be planting a tree today. This particular one is a Kentucky coffee tree. It's a male version, so it's supposed to be seedless. We will hope that it's supposed to be seedless. Pass some of those around. If it's not, these are the seeds that it will produce. So the outside's the pods. You can pass it around if you want. Take a look at it. And then there's the seeds inside. And they will drop all over the place. That's what we do not want here. Did one drop? Yep, that's the seed. So that was what's inside the pod. And probably why they try it like a Kentucky coffee bean, because that's what it looks like. No. Want to look at it? All right, everybody have a chance? Yeah, you can take it back to the truck. All right, who wants to take a guess of how long we've been celebrating Arbor Day? No? We had somebody this morning that was 1 year off. No? What? Way less. 100? Really closer.
3?
No, more than that. More than 100. Yeah, over. She's over, so a little less than 200. You take, what's your guess? You're close. Anybody in the back? Less. Couple more. So less. Anybody can just say something. No, less than 1,000. No, it's under 2. It's under 2. There were some answers in there were close. It's 152. 152 years. Okay, you got it right? Perfect. So 152 years we've been doing this. All right, guys. So for 152 we're celebrating. The guy that did this, the first year they did that, it happened in Nebraska, and they planted over 1 million trees that first year. And then the city of Sleepy Eye is also part of Tree City USA. So it's another program to promote planting of trees in the cities. Us, we're probably not as, you get in the big cities where you got a lot of cement and a lot of tar that heats up and stuff. There's not as much green space. So it's really to really help those cities plant trees. These keep your cities cooler with the temps. But we're required to spend like $2 per capita, and per capita means of our population, I don't know, is it like 3,000 something here? So you got to spend $2 for every person that lives in the city limits of Sleepy Eye, which is pretty easy to do. But they raise a lot of money for tree planting, and we're required to plant some trees, do the celebration, and we have to fill out an application every year to be part of that. And we've been doing that for 43 years. You got a question? Yep, the carbon, yep. So, and then if my notes here today, would I be able to read my notes without trees today? No. No. No, because why wouldn't I have this if we didn't have trees? Because paper is made from? Trees. All right. What about that shelter over there? You think that would be standing there without trees? No. 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 So there was one thing on here. It was your, oh, where was it? Maybe I didn't put it on here. Your toothbrush is made of plastic, and they said there was a resin that they need to make certain plastics. And the wood chips from like pine trees and was it fir trees? It was 2.5 pounds of wood chips makes 1 pound of plastic. So their little thing was a toothbrush. It might be similar. It doesn't say it all plastics, but so that was one of the things. Butterflies. Trees provide food, nesting, hiding places for butterflies. Bees also too. So your basswoods, walnut trees, apple, cherry trees, anything that have blossoms, bees will take the nectar and go back and make honey out of. And without trees, there's no rain. Tree frogs too. You got there's 4 types of tree frogs in Minnesota. There's the Cope's gray tree frog, spring peeper maybe, and the western chorus boreal. So they're also home to frogs. On that tree back there, there's a nest in there, maybe a robin's nest. I'm not sure, but a home nesting of birds. Squirrels use them. Wood ducks use them to lay their nest in. And then who likes to camp? Okay, anybody have a campfire? Would you have a campfire without a tree? No. No. And that's the biggest part. If we move on to like ash trees, so we have what's called the ash borer right now. And these 4 trees here are ash. And these will probably be gone this year or next year. So that's why we chose this area. And how it spreads, or partially how it spreads, is by people cutting down an infected tree and then cutting it up for firewood and then taking along on their camping trips. So they believe humans are the biggest cause of transportation of spreading that. So that's why we're planting a wider variety of trees, because it was like 40 years, something like that ago, we had elm disease come through and it wiped out a lot of our elms. And then when we replanted, they replanted a lot of ash. Well, now we got the ash borer, so now it's affecting like the large number of trees. We got almost 1,000, maybe 1,000 more ash trees in the boulevards, in parks in town alone that we'll probably be losing. So right now we're only putting 2 back for taking out 1,000. So we'll have to plant a lot more, and we'll ask all you guys to, you know, if you can plant a tree at home or on a farm site or anywhere you can. So we're going to need lots of trees back. But in learning that, don't plant one variety. We're going to plant multiple varieties. So if something would happen again in the future, we don't lose all of our trees at once. Any questions on that at all? Yep. Right here. It's not actually planted. Yeah, it's just sitting in there. We set it in. We didn't want it blown over, so we put it in the hole. So yeah, and they create a lot of jobs. Anybody, family works at Carr's Tree Service, Zinnel's Tree Service? Anybody know anybody that works there? Yeah, you do. Yep. So without trees, he wouldn't have a job. So for a lot of jobs. So we went and bought this today or yesterday from a nursery. So the nursery had a job because of the tree. People that cut them down, maintain them, have jobs. Sometimes scientists have jobs because of trees. And what is the bark similar to of us? Skin. Yep. So it's very important that we don't damage this today when we plant it. But any other questions? Want to know anything? Okay. And they also provide a lot of shade for us too. Today we don't need shade today. We actually need some sun to warm it up a little bit. Yep. This one is a Kentucky coffee tree. And this morning we planted that one, and that's a sunburst locust. And then we also have a variety of small trees around the softball park or here, the fields. Still a lot of ash. So, and most of these are all ash if you go down like towards the baseball field, except for the ones like along the fence. Those are maples. So yeah. Any other questions before we start planting? All right. Maybe we'll leave that in for a second. So before we get a hole like that, we got to call Go for One. So Go for One, they'll send out an email to all agencies that put stuff underground. So does anybody think there's any wires, piping in this ground right now? Yeah. Okay. If you can see, there's some red marks over here. Orange marks. Red is electrical. I believe orange is fiber, or like cable, your cable TV. Green is sewer or sanitation lines. And they did put some flags around here. So what we did is we took a white flag. So you mark the area that you want to dig in or remove a stump or whatever. Put a white flag where that is. And then when you call it in, they'll like certain perimeter around it. So you want to do that first. You don't want to get electrocuted or cut somebody's power off or lose your TV or gas lines too. Gas is blue, right? No, water lines are blue. Gas is yellow. So we did that first. And then trees, this had a plastic pot around this tree. So obviously we removed that. There's other varieties. Some have like no dirt, no mulch, nothing. They call that bare root. So you would see all of this with no dirt, no nothing. There's a potted, and then you can get one that comes in burlap. It's like a fabric. You got a question?
But also you have to be like careful like where you plant your tree because there could be like roots that are growing like together.
Yeah, like you wouldn't want to be right next to another tree because this is eventually going to get big like that tree and they would grow. Yep. So you want to find placement. The reason we're so close now is because all these 4 trees will be gone. We'll cut these down because they're ash trees and they'll have the ash borer. And the ash borer likes a young tree. And these are young trees. So more than likely these will have it and we'll have to remove them. So we picked a tree. The next thing you're going to do is you're going to dig down and you're going to find your first big main root. I don't know if you'll be able to see it, but that's right here. And depending on who planted this, your dirt might be all the way up here and you'll have to dig down that far. So when you dig your hole, you want that root just about an inch below the surface. Okay? Dig your hole a little bit bigger. We didn't get too big on our hole. We probably could have went a little bit bigger. So when you set it in there, that main root is about an inch below top surface. If you want to get really picky, kind of like I did, you can lay that and then you can get your tape measure out and actually measure. But you don't have to. You can eyeball it. Your next step is what we do is we call a box cut. So we're going to cut on both sides and then we're going to turn it and we're going to cut again. So it's a square like a box. Okay, and the reason we do this is when these roots are in the pot, they start encircling it, which right now is no big deal. It's like giving your friend a hug or whatever. But over time, you keep restricting and restricting. And so basically, if you couldn't breathe, it's kind of the same for the tree. Eventually, its own roots are going to strangle the tree. So we want the roots to go out, not around. So if we don't do this, instead of getting, say, 100 years out of the tree, we might only get 50, 20. Who knows? But you want to give the tree the best chance it can have. So that way we're going to box cut it. And then we'll set it in there. And then if you guys want to put dirt around it, you can. We'll get you in a single file line and you can put a handful around the tree as we go. And then we'll put some mulch on top of it. The mulch is going to keep it moist. Around there, we want to keep water. It's a living thing, just like us. We need water to survive. So does the tree. So we want to hold moisture there as long as we can, especially on the first planting. And then we'll continue to water, and then eventually we'll back that off. Because if like your mom or dad cleans your room every week and you never have to do it, and your mom and dad stops cleaning your room, is it going to get clean? No, no. So the roots, if I keep giving it water, the roots aren't going to have to go anywhere. We want the roots to go down and find its own water and to do it itself. Okay? So don't find a saw, old saw, not your dad's, grandpa's, mom's, grandma's favorite saw. An old ugly saw is what you want. Okay? And you don't have to take off very much. Just that outside layer.
Yeah, he's making a Minecraft vlog.
All right, I think that'll be good. All right, if everybody wants to get in single file line, whoever wants to put a handful of dirt. I don't need that anymore. That, you can grab a handful of that and put it around. Then we want to make sure the tree's straight too. Anywhere in that hole, edge there. Yep. Then you can get in the back of the line and do it again if you want. Anywhere around that edge, open area. There you go. Anywhere it'll fit. There you go. Is it straight?
What if you like
Just in case some of our friends are just pretty small nipples. Oh, jeez, that's a lot of dirt.
Good job. This is planting a tree.
Nice.
Perfect.
There you go.
Yup. You're right, it is my job. It's actually everybody's job to plant a tree because we want lots of trees. We're responsible for the trees.
Oh, Pooper. That's sweet. Come on, give it a good handful. There you go.
Good job. Big ol' handful.
There you go. Come on, Patty. It's okay. It's not that big of a deal. I know we'll get it done. Plenty of dirt for everyone. Yeah, Grace. Over, yeah. Yeah, chunk of dirt.
Yep. That's fine. You can throw her on in. Thank you. Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah, Branson. Okay, that's a lot.
Oh.
That's a lot. Workers. Yeah, I didn't know.
Yeah.
You look like you're gonna
Give me
Good job.
Oh, my shoe.
I want to take that barrel out and set it over here. We're getting closer. Oh, I just did that for the bottles.
What do you want me to do? There you go, Sarah. Give her my sweater. Yeah. I get big bag, big bag. Anna, that's about enough of that.
Well, that's a big old handful. Good job. A little bit right there where my toe is there. Couple more handfuls, then we'll be good.
That means 2, right? Oh gosh.
She got a big one. Couple more, and we should be good. All right, everybody, we're good on the dirt.
Ha, put it down.
You guys can send them back up or whatever.
Let's go fight tuna. Let's go fight tuna. No, let's go fight tuna.
Can I do it one more time?
Sure, you can throw one handful. Just you, though. A little bit. Yeah. All right, so we'll have to continue to water this. And with being so windy today, too, we'll probably put a post in here somewhere, and we'll give it some support to help it. Because right now, if I wanted to, I could just pull it out of the ground because the roots have not established. The roots would help keep it in the ground from tipping over. So we'll give it some support. We'll continue to water it. We're going to put some chips on yet, and they'll help keep the moisture. It's also going to help us keep the lawnmower away from it, help keep the trimmer away from it so we don't nick that bark. Remember, that's your skin. And then we'll put this on too. This will help protect it from like rabbits that want to eat the bark for their nutrition. Deer, which probably don't have an issue with deer here, but if you live out in the country or somewhere and you plant a tree, that might be an issue. So we'll put that on. Like I said, we'll support it with something like, I don't know, like garden hose. We'll cut a piece of garden hose and we'll put it around, and then it'll be a wire to a post to help support that. Yeah, that one's got one over there. Yep, exactly like that little guy over there. Yep, so that's what we'll do. If you guys do not want your water bottle, you can dump it here. You can water the tree with it, and then you can throw your bottle in the pail. If you don't want to dump your water, you want to keep it, go ahead, that's fine. So come on up and dump your water if you want.
You just dumped that on me. Well, now I'm wet. That's alright. Water time!
Just don't get in the mud. What's that? What's your dad's name? Oh, yeah, yep. Now I see the resemblance. Yep. No, it won't drown. No. Another pail? Right here. I'll dump it. Well, we had to empty it. We'll be right back with it. Yeah, Ron's got the pail. Yeah. Yeah, you were gonna make a bun bath. All right. Over there, he's got it. Yeah, you got some mud on your shoes. Yeah. Oh. So we actually have trees helping trees. Yeah. So when we cut down a tree or a branch falls or we trim a branch, we put it in what's called a wood chipper. So it goes in like this whole thing could go in there, and it comes out like this in little pieces. So then we can actually recycle it. People use the wood chips like Iberson out there, the sales barn. They put it down. A lot of farmers use wood chips. We use wood chips as decoration, and we have rock around the building, but you can actually dye the color so it's not a natural look. You can change the color of it, put it around your landscape. You can leave it natural like we do out at Sportsman's Park and those little islands in the parking lot. We just dump it right on in there. So even after the life of the, still there. Or you ever seen the carvings out north of town in Zittle's Tree Service? He's got like the bald eagle, and yep, so that's all from a tree. Without that, he wouldn't have anything to carve either. So our houses, benches, anything that's made from wood, all comes from trees. And there is many, many varieties. Everybody knows what a palm tree is. Think we could plant a palm tree here? Yeah. No, it would not survive. So they actually have the United States in different zones. I don't know, I think we're in zone 4 or something. So when you go buy a tree, you got to buy a tree that's for our area that handled our summers and our winters that we have here, which is changing. So sometimes our southern trees, as we move north, someday you might have to go farther north to see the pines and the thicker trees. So our climate is changing, and we just got to roll with it and do our part to slow it down what we can. But so yeah, so that's planting a tree 101. Anybody got any questions before you head back?